Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to Spider-Man on the N64. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, Spidey friends, and tell us your favorite spider costume in the comment section below. It's time to chase Venom as the Scarlet Spidey.
Oh yeah.
I like this costume, and it looks pretty decent on the N64 too. Like, it's a lot easier to see. Come on there, PD.
Yep. It looks like a cool blue t-shirt. That's all ripped up a little bit.
It's extreme 90s.
Yeah, exactly in the 90s. It's like, I'm not gonna get my shirt tailored. I'm gonna rip the arms off myself.
90s.
Can't lose him.
Not gonna lose him. He's actually really easy to find. Hangs out here by the construction yard, just waiting for you.
Yeah, I feel like people wear a lot of cutoffs and then like cut their own shirt sleeves off in the 90s a lot.
Yep.
Come on, Parker.
I'm coming.
It's like, I don't have time for these sleeves. They're in my way.
Look out, lady.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness.
Whoa, he smashed a hole through that building.
Later, nerd.
Watch that first step, Parker. It's a doozy. Ow! Head! Ow! Head! Oh, toe! Ow.
Turtles reference.
Oh. That's funny.
Oh, sorry, lady. Didn't see a thing.
Didn't see a thing. Kids channel, Venom.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Venom is terrible.
Well, he is an anti-hero.
Yep.
And of course, we're playing as Ben Reilly, which is the clone of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And Peter thought he was the clone, stayed with his wife MJ, and then Ben Reilly took over using his uncle's name, and dyed his hair yellow, or blonde, and became the extreme Spider-Man of the 90s. Well, mid-90s.
Wait, he was with Peter Parker's wife?
No. The real Peter Parker thought he was a clone, but Ben Reilly was the clone.
Wanna fight?
Oh.
Yeah, the Clone Sagas.
Weird.
Looney Tunes reference.
Where'd Spider-Wuss go? Spider-Wuss! Come out and play!
Good times.
That's funny.
All right, Sunshine, let's dance.
I'm back here, Venom!
Well, nice gloves you got
Where
there,
are you?
Spider-Man.
Spider gloves.
Come to Papa.
They increase my attack power.
Oh,
Ow.
okay.
Except, you know, they don't really help when that happens. As soon as you use webbing, you lose the ability.
I thought, like, you would use those gloves, like, as, like, little lint rollers to pick up cat hair that's left on your tuxedo or something.
It might work, but we're not going to see Spidey doing anything like that. So, Venom made a reference of a movie that people might not know what it is, but when he said, Spidey, come out and play, he was using the Warriors movie reference.
Oh, interesting.
Warriors, come out and play! It's like an urban gang movie of the 70s or 80s.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, some of the people making this game probably were doing references that people would have known. That,
From the 80s and 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Come on, Scarlet Spider, beat Venom! Oh.
Yeah, it's really cool that we were in the 80s for a little bit, but some people were actually like in their 20s or teenagers in the 80s, so that wasn't really us, but...
No.
but
I had a stroller for part of it.
I don't know if I was ever in a stroller. I really don't know. I have very few pictures of myself as a little girl.
Well, the ones that you have are very cute. Night, Venom!
Aw, thanks.
Save game? Yes. On the Spidey save file. Good times. That is a long drop.
Whoa. This is intense. Extreme 90s.
Laying down on the job, Parker?
Where's my wife, you symbiote freak?
Yeah.
Because Mary Jane was married to Peter in the 90s.
Yay! That's why Spider-Man was awesome back then.
And this is a sewer. Kind of. It's hard to see, though.
Pursuers in the sewers!
I see what you did there.
What was that from, anyway? That one game we were playing?
It was a Turtles game.
Yeah.
It's a reference to a Turtles game, I believe.
These guys must be leftovers from one of the lizard's experiments. Looks like the only way across
Leftovers.
the cavern is swinging to those pipes.
Oh boy. Alright, so we have to swing from pipe to pipe. And it may not look like it, but that green sludge that you can barely see is water. It's really hard to make out, though, on the PlayStation and N64. I contemplated playing this game on the PC or the Dreamcast, but I don't have a copy on this for the Dreamcast. It's actually a very hard game to find. And my Dreamcast doesn't really work all that well anymore.
Did it look good on a Sega Dreamcast?
Sorry, guys.
Yes.
Am I late for the party?
Oh, okay. So Sega was all about graphics then? For
The Dreamcast was ahead of its time.
Oh.
Like, when it released in the middle of the N64 life cycle and before the PlayStation 2, in the early 2000s, it was doing PS2 and GameCube quality graphics before those systems even released. And it was on the market with N64 and the original PlayStation. The problem with it, though, is they spent so much money on marketing and not really a lot in game development, and the company, Sega, went bankrupt. And another reason, too...
Open this door!
I love this.
Who is it?
Oh my god.
Little nods to humor
So
there.
that's why Sega went bankrupt.
They went bankrupt, too, because...
Come in.
Come in. Okay. So they went bankrupt because not just marketing, but also Sega, because they were desperately trying to catch up after the Genesis, they would release so many new systems like every other year.
Oh my
that would be an
gosh.
attachment to their Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive.
Oh.
Like the Sega CD, the Sega 32X, all this other stuff. And the Sega Saturn was another failed system they had. Their portable game division wasn't doing well. And the Dreamcast was the final nail in the coffin, and it was their last system.
That's a cool name.
Dreamcast was a great system. I'm never going to knock it. It was ahead of its time, but they just ran out of money. They went bankrupt.
If they had not spent all that money marketing, then we could be living in a world where Sega has their own system.
Yeah, pretty much. So, before I forget, this part can be a little bit confusing. You got to go into this weird Spidey view thing and swing to each one of these green thingies in order. If you miss one, then the door at the far end of the sewer is not going to open. And again, you have to be very careful because just a few inches below Spidey, that is the water, even though you can't see it. And we actually have increased the brightness and saturation of our capture card and the television to try to see. And this is the best it's going to get people. So I might make mistakes and end up falling. But see how that's red there? We can't get past that point until we swing to the green. And then that will light up green.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. It just lit up from red to green.
Yep. It's like red light, green light.
Oh my gosh. This is crazy.
It is. It's a little annoying. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people diss on the Clone Saga. It wasn't that bad of a game or like a comic series, but it was kind of weird because the real Peter Parker got depressed because he thought he was the clone, and the clone was married to, well, you know, the real Peter was married to MJ, and they were gonna have a baby, and they end up leaving New York City to Ben, who is the Scarlet Spider, who changes his costume to regular Spider-Man, sort of, with like some 90s edge to it. It's kind of like this suit, but very 90s.
How could he think he was a clone?
I don't know how they ended up with that story arc. It was just weird.
I thought he knew how he became Spider-Man.
Well, because they were so identical. And, you know, Ben, being the good guy that he is, because he's like Peter, he decides, okay, you know what? You stay with Mary Jane and I'll protect the world of Spider-Man.
So Ben really was a clone then?
Yeah, but you didn't find out for a couple years, so it was like really confusing the readers. Whoops!
Oh, whoa, that's weird.
Okay.
But Ben, his uncle's name is Ben.
Parker. Mary Jane's at the next stop.
Okay, so I made a little snafu here. This train is really hard to see where the edge of it is, so what you want to do is stay a little bit away from the purple and don't go past the green. Because you go past either one of those colors, you're going to fall off and have to do the train level all over again.
Oh,
the train
okay.
level only lasts as long as that little train is going across the screen on the bottom.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, I see the little train there. Okay.
Yep. And this is pretty much your elevator turtles level where you have to just beat up wave after wave of bad guy.
That's funny.
But you want to be careful not to do too many acrobatics because, you know, the train is in motion. If you jump up, the train's going to go from underneath you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, just keep it to basic combos. This game is going to reward you with lots of health and web pickups by just standing here.
Yeah.
And that's actually a move I forgot to do early in the game. It's a punch, punch, and then web, and you'll, like, throw the guy over your head. But it doesn't really do that much damage to the lizard creatures.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, back to the MJ clone saga, whatever. So, the clone Peter, who is real Peter, ends up moving to another city with MJ to have their baby. Unfortunately, Mary Jane has a miscarriage because of a fight between Ben and Peter.
Oh my god.
She tries to stop both guys from fighting.
Wow, that's really sad.
It is. It is. But it isn't until near the end of the 90s that Ben Reilly is proven to be the clone because he's fighting either Green Goblin or Hobgoblin, and he's killed, and then he disintegrates in front of Peter, and then Peter realizes, hey, I was the real McCoy the whole time.
Gosh.
And he kind of like has a mental break, but of course goes back to being Spider-Man, and he's with MJ for a while, and you know, they still don't have a kid though.
So he disintegrates in front of him? Oh my god.
He wasn't real. I mean, he was real, but it was the Clone Saga, okay? It's...
Well, yeah, I mean, there are different types of clones. Like, there's the clone that it's like it is birthed from, like, you know, just like born the regular way, but you're just a clone of the other one. Then there's like a clone that's like kind of like fake, I don't know, that kind of clone. Like, you disintegrate or like
it was
Poison
really
Ivy's
weird.
clones.
I don't even think Marvel knew who the real Spider-Man was at that point, but sales were declining and they wanted to bring back Peter Parker.
Oh, so they left it open too.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's doing some kind of stretches.
Watch out! No!
Peter!
Falling for us, Parker.
Oh, that's corny, but funny.
Falling for it. Uh-huh.
Ow.
Where am I now?
Another part of the subway that's going to be easier to see.
Big time.
For now. I wish everything was this bright and happy, but it's not. This is actually between this and there's one level that I can't stand, the final boss, because you don't really fight the final boss, you run away from him, and it's really hard to see where you're going. It's not a gameplay problem, it's like you can't see where you're going problem because everything is so dark and the transparency effect doesn't work all that well.
Yeah.
That's what I remember about this game. When I was a kid, actually no, I wasn't. I would have been, when this game came out, let's see, 2000, I would have been a junior or sophomore in high school.
Oh.
So I would have to really crank up the brightness of the television and turn up the saturation to see where I was going, yeah.
Yeah, that was before you met me.
That was before I met you.
Yeah, fun fact, Luke and I went to the same high school, but we never saw each other.
Nope. Amber was in honors classes, and I was honored to pass high school.
You could have been in honors classes.
I don't think so, but I knocked myself a lot, but I did double up on my studies and I graduated early. I only went to high school for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, I basically, like, went to Japan high school, if you think about it.
Well,
Lizards.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I actually didn't get into honors classes till I was in high school, because all through grade school they told me that I was normal, or whatever normal is. See, that's why I don't like how people put people into categories like that, because I believe everyone has important talents and stuff. But my brothers would get into honors classes and I wasn't.
Okay, see? That's water. See? Do you see how you barely see it? That's the
now
water!
You can see it.
No, you really can't.
It's really hard to see, though.
It's draining. So, a lot of times, I remember people... I need to do a Retro Mondays on this, because I have enough footage.
You should!
But, the water was so... whatever it is, like, murky, and just, you can't really see that it was in motion.
Yeah.
So, a lot of players at this point of the game, if they did not throw these switches properly, you would end up, like, drowning Spider-Man. And the way that he drowns, it looks really stupid. He's, like, waving his arms, and he's just going, like,
Wouldn't he be really, like, muscular to be able to swim his way out of there? I mean, like, he has super strength, so you could,
well,
like,
it's that old saying of classic video games that 18 years ago, most video games did not allow characters to swim. Video games was, like, the water was their kryptonite.
Yeah, but all you need to know how to swim is either know how to float on your back or be able to tread water until you get to safety. And if you have muscles, you can easily tread water. I know most.
It would have been another animation that they would have had to create in a video game, though. So for the most part, a lot of not ancient video games, but classic games from the 90s and the 80s, your character would be like a weakness to water. As soon as you got in the water, you would die. No matter what happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't until games like Ocarina of Time where you would be able to swim. But there we go, we're draining the water again. Because if I would have dived into there right now, I would die.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, you touched water. It's deadly.
Yeah, and you can't get out of it. Like, it's an instant death.
That's terrible. The way you climb is so weird. It's like
I love the web zip.
No, it's cool. No, I mean, like, when you climb up against the wall, it's like your knees are moving so weird when you notice how he moves.
This game was pretty revolutionary for a 3D Spider-Man game,
I mean,
though.
he moves like a spider. It's like,
yeah, well, he's supposed to.
Spider-Man always even climbs up the wall like a spider.
Yep. So make sure that you guys throw all these switches here, getting to the walkthrough part, because it will open up new areas that you need to go to. And this area is kind of like a maze, not so much that it's confusing, but like since everything looks the same, you really have to pay attention. I believe
everything does look the same.
Water down there. I can't tell. Okay, I'm a little lost. No, we have to go. Yeah, we have to go back the way we came. I'm pretty sure.
Those switches, yeah.
Pretty sure.
Well, this is really fun to watch. I mean, maybe if we do more playthroughs on retro games, you can do some more Retro Mondays on them.
Well, I really... I'm getting a lot of requests because we're doing N64 games now to do a Castlevania game for... If I do one, it would be Legacy of Darkness, like for the 64.
You could even put your... Well, never mind. You could put your Retro Mondays like on Patreon for $1.
No.
Like 2 weeks before you release it on yours.
But then that makes me have to work on it even longer. Like,
oh, because you want it to be even better then?
No, I can never make it better. I don't really... I just have like a very bare bones editing style. Because, you know, I maintain a collab channel full time, so...
Yeah, that's why I mean, if I could...
Whoops.
I don't... Whoa,
Whoops.
you're going through the wall!
Glitch!
I wish I could go to...
Spider glitch.
You know, like, take some video editing classes that I could just teach you some things I learned.
Water. See it? See it was moving a little bit?
Yes!
It kind of looks like slugs.
You can't tell if it's there or not.
No, you can't. And now it's going to get even worse, though.
I'm guessing that people fall there and die a lot because they think they can jump down.
Yep. Yep, that's what would happen.
That's frustrating.
And just so people know, we do have the brightness increased on the capture card, so we can see a little bit. This is not the default colors for what this game was. It was much darker. Like, we have it set to at least a brightness of 20 and a saturation of 5 on the Elgato. Ah! There it is! That's the drowning animation. See? It's like...
He's like, I never took swimming lessons in kindergarten.
I'm a superhero and I can't swim!
I can do everything, but I can't swim.
Alright, so this portion of the game, all you have to do is, just like before, you have to throw the different switches. You can, if you want to, fight all these lizard men that are going to come out of the water, but I wouldn't advise it. I mean, just throw 4 switches and then head down. But be very careful heading down, because there's only one place that Spider-Man can land on, and if you mess up, you're going to go through that drowning animation again.
Oh my gosh. Well, now I got to see the drowning animation. I was really waiting for that. It made me feel happy to see that.
And of course, because it was the late 90s, everything is extreme! Even the music. It's like the lizards are metalheads here. Wicky, wicky, whack.
I know.
Later, losers.
I mean, I never appreciated the 90s when they were around. I always thought the 90s thought they were cooler than they were, but...
Well, technically,
this was... Cool.
You have... The year 2000 was still pretty much like the 90s.
It was basically like the 90s.
They didn't have their own style
The early
yet.
2000s were still like the 90s, because it was kind of like, what would you call yourself? The O's? Like, we never even knew what to call ourselves in the 2000s. It was like,
Nope.
O's. Like, there was no name for it. And even 2010s, it's like, what are we supposed to call ourselves? The 10s? The teens? It's stupid.
Yeah, the year 2000 was actually kind of a fun year, too. It's like the year afterwards where the world kind of changed a lot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but
I
2000 was still very optimistic. There's a comic book.
Definitely. Well, I think like people were just like, oh, well, there's a Y2K scare.
Oh yeah.
And then after that,
I remember that.
And then after that, it was like people were like, oh, the world's just gonna keep on going how it is. All right, cool.
Yep.
And then they just continued. No!
Ah, water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, the Y2K scare was the biggest thing between 1999 and 2000. Like, the day before that, I remember my teacher being like, well, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Hopefully the world will still be here when,
That's where we need to go.
When you guys get
not
back to
this
school.
again.
And all these kids are freaking out. They're like, my dad works at a bank. I don't know what's going to happen and stuff.
So, you just have to go through this door. It's really weird web crawling glitches. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, people thought it was going to be at the end of the world back then.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't.
They did for a little bit, but then people chilled until, of course, you know,
Till
September
now,
11th.
where it's like every 2 years is supposedly the end of the world.
Yep. Did you know that there really wasn't that many mental illnesses and other problems like until
After 2001.
Time this right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of challenging. What we have to do is crawl and not get hit by the square water.
Move it, Spidey, move it!
There are a little pockets where you can kind of hang out right up here, and it goes back to the old school counting in your head about how long you have before the water rises and drowns you. See how it's usually about like 15 seconds. So as soon as it starts to lower, you gotta book it, and this is as fast as you can go.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Go, Spidey, go!
You would think he'd be able to crawl faster as a spider. He'd be like,
I had a friend that used to panic here, and he would get stuck because it's really hard to see if you're moving forward.
or
And
if
he
you're
would get
moving
that
to the
like little
side.
animation where he would be like moving, but he'd be
Put
stuck,
in place.
and then he would, of course,
Oh
drown.
my gosh. I was gonna say, is that your friend, your cousin, or no?
No, it was
okay.
a kid who was much younger than me, who became like one of my bestest friends because I had moved around so much.
Yeah.
I was basically like a military kid, but you know, pastor's son. So we would move like every 4 to 5 years. So
Yeah, it's really hard when your family has a job where you move a lot, because it's so hard, because once you move to a new school, everyone already has friends, so...
Did you see the water look like electricity back there?
Yeah, that was weird.
It's kind of ridiculous. There it goes! Blue electricity water.
Coming through.
Well,
Venom, you jerk.
like you were saying, though, like, mental illness is caused by depletion of vitamins due to stress, usually.
Oh yeah, everybody's
So
stressed
if
went up.
everyone gets stressed out by a traumatic event that happens to the whole world, then everyone is going to get mental illness. Because you don't have your vitamins to make your nerve connections anymore.
I wonder what I would have been like if 9/11 hadn't happened.
Everyone would have been less stressed out.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah.
But anyway, more about Happy Spidey.
Sorry.
about that. This game brings back memories of
I know.
a different world. It was
It's
18
like
years ago.
there's pre-2000s
Where are you?
and after.
Okay, so this is a mini puzzle.
Mary Jane won't last much longer.
Jerk.
You're mean, dude.
Where am I supposed to go again? Oh yeah. Okay.
How does this guy live with himself?
He's an anti-hero.
I bet the right combination of switches will open all of the sewer pass gates.
Okay, the right combination of switches. So basically, what we need to do.
Guess again.
Mm,
What are you, stupid?
you're
Guess again.
stupid.
Hurry up, Spidey.
What do you think I'm doing?
He has such a weird
Weird
voice.
Guess again.
Okay, so then, see how it has like the.
Ooh, look at the big brain on Spidey.
Say, That's the last switch.
Not gonna let me talk. Okay, so at that point, all you have to do is you see the doors. They appear like kind of white on the, you know, on the panels that you have to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and our HDMI cable's going out.
I would have no idea how to figure out which one to push. Like, this is very confusing right now.
Well, they have them in white, like which is the right one and which one isn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's no big.
Alright, that's cool.
But anyway, this is gonna be a great stopping point.
Yeah, Spider-Man looks so 90s right now.
Venom.
Back here, Venom.
His t-shirt.
We'll have to get Venom tomorrow, though. So anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for taking the time to watch.
Yay!
Stroll down memory lane. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and again, tell us your favorite spider costume in the comment section below.
Woo-hoo.
Until we meet again, God bless and happy gaming. Thanks for watching.
See